Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market. It's closing in just about 7.5 minutes. We have massive earnings coming out today as well, with Apple being one of them, Google, I think Amazon as well. I can't remember. I was looking at it here on the side here. Amazon, Google, Apple. So, some pretty big names over here reporting earnings. So we'll see how that affects the market, because it absolutely can affect the market. So as you can see, guys, actually, before we jump into it, again, none of this financial advice. Make your decisions, do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. On top of that, also, you can see Tesla should be closing roughly around this general level. I'll be surprised if it's much more or less than this. Pretty much around 188, we'll say, just shy of 190, which is about almost a 4% increase on the day, which is quite phenomenal, though it was substantially higher, almost, I think, 7% at some point at the very, very peak. So let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, oh, by the way, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps a lot. But I've been talking about this general price level for quite a while, back when we were still way over here, I think, right? And I've been saying how, I personally would not be surprised if Tesla has steam left up to maybe as high as 200, most, 195, 200, something like that. We went as high as 197 pretty much, which is exactly like dead smack middle of my kind of, little price range that I had of 195 to 200, which is, pretty good spot to get rejected at. Let's just say that, right? You can see it's also the this is the 100-day moving average. Got rejected right exactly, not exactly, but pretty much right around that as well on the daily. So yeah, some pretty wild stuff here. So, the big question here is, of course, is this the top? Is it time to, plummet? Is this it? Is it time to crash, or what's going on? What's happening next? Well, let's talk about that. So first and foremost, you can see as we did make higher highs over here, which Tesla is still making higher highs. It's still not looking that bearish yet. We are making a bearish divergences. You can see the RSI did not make a higher high as the stock did. That right there is the start of a bearish divergence on the daily chart. So keep that in mind, guys. That is very, very important. And you kind of start roughly seeing it happening here a little bit as well, right? Where, we want to obviously higher than this level here. So as the stock is going upwards, this RSI is kind of slowly actually making its way downwards. Another bearish divergence instance. So keep those things in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Those are really, really important numbers to keep in mind. So we'll see where this ends up actually taking us. SPY, you can see, did break out of this channel upwards, which was extremely surprising to me. The fact that it did this is very shocking. I did not think it would do this, but the fact that it broke these 410 highs is interesting. That also, really makes you wonder, is the bear market potentially over? We'll have to see where SPY draws down to next. That'll be very important. But as long as SPY, honestly, if it can not go lower than like 380, man, you can definitely make an argument the bear market is done. So we'll see. That's, of course, later to be discussed. But as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, I personally wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow's a bit of a red day, or at the very most, like more or less sideways. I don't think we'll go much higher than we did today. Like, I'll be genuinely surprised if we actually touch 200 at this point, mainly because we got this massive rejection here. We are essentially setting up a doji candle as well, right, where it has the opening and the close like this being very, very tight, very, very close to each other, which is usually a sign of a potential reversal on its way. So, there's a lot of things that are starting to indicate that we are approaching, if not already, more or less at the top for Tesla. Some people I've been seeing calling Tesla to potentially go up as high as 210, 220. Unless we break 200, that is absolutely not going to happen. So until we break these highs, and especially break and hold above 200, forget about anything above that. The first and most important level to look out for is 200. If 200 gets broken, and most importantly, we hold and close above 200, and we don't just collapse right back under, right, that's going to be important. Similar to like this, for instance, like pretend like this 100-day moving average, just pretend this was 200 price level, just as an example, right? So you can see how, we went above it. And then, it feels bullish, like, wow, we went above it, fantastic, right? Same thing as if we went from 200 all the way up to, like, let's say, 202 or something like that, right? But the point is the fact that, we collapsed back under and we got sucked back into it, right, pretty quickly. So that's important to note, because same thing if that were to happen with this up here in the 200s, we went above to like 202, 203, and then we got sucked back under and, back to like 198 or something like that. That right there is, not what you want to be seeing, right? That shows weakness. That shows that the strength is finally starting to dry up, and there's just not enough, power, if you will, I guess, left to make this rally sustainable. Especially when you're getting rejected at arguably a major level, which in my opinion, this kind of, close to 200, and especially this 100-day moving average level is a pretty major one that I've been talking about for quite a while now, that we are getting, a pretty obvious sign of rejection and a lot of selling pressure coming in. So for I guess if I had to take a wild guess, I personally don't think we'll just crash from here. I'll be surprised. This candle is a reversal candle, but it doesn't scream to me crash time. It could. I mean, we have earnings coming out from Apple, Amazon, Google, so that, if those go horribly, absolutely can cause the market to crash, no question about it. But with that being said and done, nothing really screams to me it's time to crash just yet, right? I don't really see that instance just yet. It might happen. Again, like I said, the risk versus return here for the bulls is definitely really, starting to not be very favorable in my opinion. But with that being said, nothing is also screaming to me that it's time to crash. So, we'll see, of course, what happens with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get, some red. Don't get me wrong. I still think we might get some red, maybe down to as low as 181 potentially, maybe even 180 or 177. This general level definitely wouldn't be surprising if we go down there, maybe tomorrow even, right, or something like that, maybe tomorrow and or Monday. But ultimately I would expect us to kind of, at least for now, trade kind of within this range for a little bit, right? I don't think we'll just completely collapse back under that fast either, but definitely wouldn't be surprised if this, within this range, we kind of trade, like, let's just say somewhere around like this, actually more specifically, somewhere around this level, right? Probably above 180 still, but most likely not above 200. And between 180 and 200 is where I personally think that we will trade between for the next, few days at least, in my opinion. And then from there, we'll see how it forms up. And then we'll see what it starts looking like from then on forth. And if it's starting to develop potentially a bullish situation where, it's starting to develop instances that make me think that, yeah, you know what, maybe we might touch 200 itself and then, go from there. Or if it's looking like it's developing something that's looking a little bit more bearish, we'll discuss that, of course, as it forms. And then we'll discuss that, it's starting to look extremely toppy here, and it's looking like, we might start finally making our way back down finally after honestly quite a phenomenal run, pretty much almost a straight up 100% rally for the month, which is quite significant, of course, right? That is a pretty massive rally. But again, all that being said and done, a doji candle, massive rejection in a pretty massive area I've been talking about for quite a while, a bearish divergence starting to form, nothing too, completely concerning yet, but definitely starting to form, no question about that whatsoever. We'll see where it takes us. Things are starting to develop. It's almost as if, you were to look out your window and you saw a storm, like a massive storm, like way out in the distance. And, there's a decent chance it's coming to your way, but you're not really sure yet. That's kind of how I would describe the situation right here, right now. We see the storm potentially brewing. It might be coming our way. We're not really sure yet. We need to see a little bit more, of the candles, a little more trading action to happen to really see the formation and to see whether or not the storm is finally coming to our direction. I definitely think there's an absolutely realistic possibility it is coming in our direction. But like I said, right now it's too early to for sure say. But with that being said, and I said this many times before, especially on yesterday's candle, the risk versus return for the bulls, in my opinion here, is definitely not that high. And I would personally be very cautious and careful if you're a bull here. That's just my opinion, of course. We'll see what ends up being, of course, as usual, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. It's too early to say if it's time to crash or not. Like I said in the video several times, we need to see a bit more formation. But again, in terms of the bulls, I'd be very cautious here, guys. I don't think there's that much more upside left. And that I personally believe if the downside finally does begin, which it very well might very soon, it could be pretty harsh once it does happen, which, hard to say exactly when, but again, not very favorable here for the bulls in my opinion. So if you're a bull looking to trade more upside, not financial advice, just my opinion, I'd be a little cautious. But all that being said, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you for tomorrow. Peace.